Lesson 7 is our short lesson on the access management process, and it has 3 main objectives. First, we'll understand the objective of the access management process, and next we'll explain some access management related terms, and we'll wrap up with the roles associated with the access management process. Access management is where we execute the access control section of the information security policy. It's where we grant or deny people access to things on a day-to-day basis. If you remember back to the service design process of information security management, you'll remember that the information security manager writes an information security policy. That policy contains an access policy section which dictates which people should have access to what. And when we say access, we not only mean network access or access to certain IT services, but also physical access to certain areas of the building too, for example. You might also remember that the availability management process, also from service design, is closely related to information security management because it ensures that when a user should have access to a service or a resource, that service or resource is available or up when it needs to be. Access management and information security management and availability management are all closely related processes, and you'll need to remember that for the exam. Let's take a look at some access management key terms. If you've ever done any server or network administration, these access management words should be pretty familiar to you. The first word we have is identity, and this is how you are uniquely identified as you. For example, this could be your unique user ID that represents your identity on the network. The next word we have is rights, also called privileges, and these are the actual settings where a user is granted to a service or a group of services. Examples of rights are read-only access, write access, full control, etc. The next term we have is service groups. Most users don't just use one service, they use a group of services. And it's easiest from an administration standpoint to group similar users together into groups and then assign those rights to the user group instead of assigning them all individually to each person. For example, Sally works in marketing, so she belongs to the marketing group. People in the marketing group get access to the marketing share on the network, the marketing intranet page, and the marketing SharePoint site. Our last term is directory services, which refers to a specific type of tool we use to manage access and rights for users. Examples of these tools are Active Directory, eDirectory, Open Directory, Open LDAP, or if you're mentally stuck in the Windows NT world like me, User Manager for Domains. Who actually does access management? Most organizations don't have a dedicated staff. However, it's becoming more common for large financial institutions to have a group dedicated to this. As with all things, it's your call. As we said before, information security management is the process where the information security policy is created, and that's where it's specified which people can access what resources. Anyone doing access management activities will need to see that information security policy so they know what to grant or deny. But who actually does that? Some organizations leave that to the service desk, while other organizations will have members of technical management, application management, or IT operations management grant or deny access to the services or resources. It'll largely depend on what the user is requesting access to. It's important to remember that whomever is providing the access needs to have a way to validate and verify that the person requesting the access to something is truly who they say they are. The information security policy will provide guidance for how to do that. And this roles slide, my friends, wraps up not only this lesson, but also the content of the service operation chapter. Let's move on to lesson 8, where we'll try our hand at some sample questions based on the service operation chapter.